to take care of the baby today, a woman told her husband. I'm not feeling well. No problem, darling. Shall I go shopping for you as well? Her husband asked. She was very pleased and said, that will help me a lot. I will give you a list for things to buy. She wrote out the list and gave it to him. You can put the baby in the shopping cart, so you won't leave him outside. The man took the baby into the supermarket and put him in the shopping cart. Then he pushed the shopping cart along the road for things to buy and looked lost on his list. At first, all was well, but the baby began to cry. Then he started to scream and scream and scream. Calm down, the man said. Don't get excited. Don't shout, John. Don't lose your temper, John. The woman in the supermarket heard him say these things. He walked up to him. I think you are wonderful, she said. You are so patient with your little John. Madam, I'm John, his error. Thank you. There was a farmer who sold a pound of butter to a baker. One day, the baker decided to weigh the butter to see if he was getting right enough, which he wasn't. Angry about this, he took a farmer to court. The judge asked the farmer if he was using any measure to weigh the butter. The farmer replied, Honor, I am primitive. I don't have a proper measure to weigh the butter. The judge asked, Then how do you weigh the butter? The farmer replied, Your Honor, long before the baker started buying butter from me, I have been buying a pound loaf of butter from him. Every day when the baker brings the bread, I put it on the scale and give him a cent to weigh in butter. If anyone is to be blamed, it is the baker. Thank you.
Joe Thompson is 18 years old, and he drives a small Jeep. Joe loves to drive his car. Sometimes he wears his seatbelt, sometimes he doesn't. One day, Joe is driving his Jeep. He is not wearing his seatbelt. Suddenly, another car turns in front of him. Joe hits the other car. Joe's Jeep rolls over once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. The 4th time the Jeep rolls over, the tire comes off. Joe goes out into the air. He goes up high. There are some wires above the street. One wire catches Joe's foot. He grabs another wire with his hand. Now Joe is hanging high above the street. He's holding on to the wires. Joe is lucky. These wires are not for electricity. They are from telephones. Joe has a cell phone in his pocket. He calls 911. Then he calls his father. I have an accident. He tells his father, I'm hanging from some wires high above the street. Hold on, Joe, his father says. Hold on. 20 minutes later, rescue workers take Joe down from the wires. Then they take him to the hospital. The doctor at the hospital tells Joe, You're fine. No cuts, no broken bones. You can go home. A few weeks later, Joe buys a new Jeep. He loves to drive his car. He always wears his seatbelt. Thank you.
Angel was a very kind and beautiful woman. Before she got married, many men were in love with her. Many of them wrote to her telling her how wonderful she is, how much they loved her and wanted to marry her. She had all these letters. She tied them up with a red ribbon and put them away in an old box. She never looked at them as she was happily married. However, they were a part of her life and she did not want to throw them away. Angel have a daughter, May. She was 6. One day, Angel had to leave May for half an hour. Now, be a good girl, she said. Play quietly. If you need anything, go to the lady next door. When she returned home, she asked May, have you been a good girl? Oh, yes, Mommy, May said. What did you do when I was out? Angel asked her. I played mailman, May told her. How could you play mailman, darling? Angel asked. You didn't have any letters. Oh, yes, I did, Mommy, May said. I found some in an old box upstairs. They were tied up with a red ribbon. I put one in every mailbox on the street. Wasn't I a good girl? Thank you.
Mr. Davis took his young son to a picnic when he was sick. They were the first patient of the day and did not have to wait long. The nurse took the boy into the doctor's room while Mr. Davis waited outside. After a few minutes, the doctor came out of his room and spoke to the nurse. Have we got a screwdriver? He asked her. The nurse looked in the drawer. She found a screwdriver. She gave it to the doctor and he went back to his room. A few minutes later, he came out again. I need a saw, he said to the nurse this time. Again, the nurse looked in the drawer. She found a saw. She gave it to the doctor and he went back to his room. A few minutes later, he came out with his spoon for the third time. I'm going to need a hammer, he said. For the third time, the nurse looked in the drawer. She found a hammer and gave it to the doctor. This time, Mr. Davis could not keep quiet. But what is wrong with my son? What are you doing to him? I haven't examined him yet, the doctor said. I'm still trying to get my bag open. Thank you.
Carter family has two girls, Mary and Kate. Mary is a little girl. She's only 6. She doesn't go to school. Certainly, she doesn't know how to read and write. But her older sister Kate is a school girl. She's 10. One day, Mom and Dad go to the grocery store downtown. Kate is bored and she wants to watch TV in the living room. When she goes there, she sees Mary sitting at a table. She's doing something on the table and she even doesn't notice Kate. Kate walks to Mary and asks, "What are you doing, Mary?" Mary says, "I'm writing a letter to my Rose." Kate is confused. She knows her sister hasn't come to school yet. So Kate says, "But how can you? You don't know how to write." Hearing this, Mary holds her head up and says heavily, "It doesn't matter because she doesn't know how to read." Thank you.
Right after Zach's wedding, his wife's mother came to live with him. She was not an easy woman to live with. She was always complaining and never seemed to stop talking. Zach knew his wife could not listen to any criticism of her mother. "She's my mother," she said. "I must respect her, and so must you." As the months passed, Zach became more and more unhappy. If only he thought there was some way of stopping his mother-in-law from talking all the time. And one day she was ill. She complaining, of course. She was hot, she was cold, her leg and her headache. She couldn't eat, she couldn't sleep. At last, Zach sent for the doctor. The doctor arrived. He examined and then put a thermometer in her mouth. He wanted to take her temperature. "Sit quietly," he said, "and don't open your mouth." Zach watched with surprise at his mother-in-law lay in bed with a thermometer in her mouth, and her mouth closed. For the first time since his wedding, he could not hear his mother-in-law's voice. He walked up to the doctor, pointed at the thermometer, and whispered in the doctor's ears, "How much do you want for that thing? Thank you."
is great, spends time with you, cares for you, and is an important person. Well, I do. And she has black hair, brown eyes, and a caring touch. That's my mom. My mom talks to me about many things. One of the things she talked to me about is what will happen when I grow up. She taught me what to do in case of an emergency. And one day, I had a really bad day with my friend, and she taught me what to do about it. My mom always laughs, and when she laughs, she sounds like a hyena gone crazy. But she doesn't laugh every day. But when she does, it's hilarious. And I have to laugh too. My mom is the greatest. I love how she jokes around. She is always fun no matter what. And she gives me a great advice. My mom is more than a mom. She is like my best friend. Thank you.
Once there was a boy named Patrick who went to visit his granny for the night. As it was getting dark, Granny said to Patrick, "Oh, Patrick, it's getting dark. Get into bed, put your head on the pillow, and go to sleep." "But Granny," said Patrick, "I don't have a pillow." "What?" cried Granny. She ran to the hen house to get a load of feathers. She made a bag, stuffed the feathers into it, sewed it up, and put it on the bed. "There you are, Patrick," said Granny. "Lie down, put your head on the pillow, pull up your blanket, and go to sleep." "But Granny," said Patrick, "I don't have a blanket." "What?" cried Granny. She ran outside to shear some sheep wool. She knitted a bed, stuffed the feathers. Then she knitted a blanket. Then she spread the blanket on the bed. "Now, Patrick," said Granny, "lie down, put your head on the pillow, pull up your blanket, and go to sleep. And don't forget your teddy bear." "But Granny," said Patrick, "I don't have a teddy bear." "What?" cried Granny. "And it's already morning now," said Granny. Thank you.
As a child, Aaron Robert was afraid of heights. One day, when he was 12, he returned home from school. At the front door of his building, he looked for his keys. He didn't have them. It was 3:30, and his paperwork until 6 p.m. He looked his apartment. On 8th floor, he saw an open window. He closed his eyes and pictured himself climbing a building. When he opened his eyes, he told himself, "I can do it." 15 minutes later, he was in his house, and his fear of heights is gone. Alan climb was a hobby, and he also made money for a charity. When he climbed, he wanted to send a message to the people. When you have dreams, it can be real, but you must be brave and keep trying. When something bad happens, don't give up. Close your eyes and tell yourself, "I can do it." Thank you.
"Daddy, can I learn to play the violin?" Young Sarah asked her father. "You cost me a lot of money, Sarah," her father said. "First, you wanted to learn horseback riding, then dancing, then swimming. Now it's the violin." "I'll play every day, Daddy," Sarah said. "I'll try very hard." "All right," her father said. "This is what I'll do. I'll pay for you to have lessons for 6 weeks. At the end of the 6 weeks, you must play something for me. If you play well, you can have more lessons. If you play badly, I'll stop the lessons. Okay, Daddy, Sarah said. The 6 weeks passed quickly. The time came for Sarah to play for his father. She went to the living room and said, I'm ready to play for you, Daddy. She began to play. She played very badly. She made a terrible noise. Her father had one of his friends with him, and his friend put his hands over his ears. When Sarah finished, her father said, Well done, Sarah. You can have more lessons. Sarah ran happily out of the room. His father's friends turned to him. You spend a lot of money, but she still plays very badly. He said, Well, that's true, her father said. But since she started learning violin, I'll be able to buy 5 apartments in this building very cheaply. In another 6 months, I'll own the whole building.
Jenny's oven didn't work, so she called someone to fix it. Since she had to go to work in the morning, she left a note for the repairman. Ben arrived at 9 a.m. and read that no one's at the door. The key is with my neighbor. Leave a bill and I will pay you tonight. Don't worry about my dog Rex. He won't bother you. But do not talk to my parrot. Do not say one word to the parrot. When Ben unlocked the door, he met Rex, the meanest, biggest dog he had ever seen. But Rex was very good. He just sat there and watched Ben work. The parrot, however, drove Ben crazy. The bird squawked and yelled and called him rude name. Finally, Ben couldn't stand it any longer. He yelled, Be quiet, you loud, stupid bird. The bird replied, Go get him, Rex. Rex stood up and showed Ben his sharp teeth. A frightened Ben made it out of the door before Rex could hurt him. He never did finish fixing Jenny's oven, and he didn't plan on going back. Thank you.
There was a mat-covered catcher. Trip had built feathers that shimmer with every color of the rainbow. Whenever someone took a line, the bird's feathers turned dull and gray. One day, a mischievous boy named Jack decided to play break. He told his friends a made-up story, and the bird's feathers immediately lost their shine. Jack felt guilty and knew he had done wrong. Curious, Jack followed the bird and begged for forgiveness. The bird agreed, but had one condition. Jim must promise to always speak the truth. Jack learned that lies hurt others to start trust. From that day on, Jack became an honest and trustworthy person. He realized that the bird of truth was a valuable friend. Whenever he faced a difficult choice, he would listen to the birds, gentle voice guiding him to the truth. Thank you.
A man walked into a doctor's examining room. Put on a top, the doctor said. The man put on his top, and the doctor looked at it quickly. Okay, put your tongue back now, the doctor said. It's clear what's wrong with you. You need more exercise. But doctor, the man said, I don't think... Don't tell me what you think, the doctor said. I'm the doctor, not you. I know what you need. I see hundreds of people like you. None of them gets any exercise. They sit in the offices all day and in front of the television in the evening. What's needed is to walk quickly for at least 20 minutes a day. Doctor, you don't understand, the patient said. I don't want to hear any excuses, the doctor said. You must find time for exercise. If you don't, you will get fat and have health problems when you are older. But I walk every day, the patient said. Oh, yes, and I know what kind of walking that is. You walk a few feet from your house to the train station, a few more feet from the station to your office, and a few more feet from your office to a restaurant for lunch and back. That's not real walking. I'm talking about a walk in the park for at least 20 minutes every day. Well, you listen to me, doctor, the patient shouted, and getting angry with this doctor who thought he knew everything. I'm a mailman, the patient went on, and I work for 7 hours every day. For a moment, the doctor was silent. Then he said quietly, Put your tongue out again. Well, thank you.